Hi everyone, in this video we are going to discuss how to write some new content into the file. So writing is the process of writing something new into the file in a file which is already open via some file object or file handle. There are two types of write operations. One is write, another one is append. Both the types of operations depending upon the mode of operation or mode of file opening. If you are opening the file in write mode, then you can do the write operation. The write operation is the process of writing some new content into the file, and it's just replacing or it is overwriting the existing content. So the existing content will be going lost and the new content will be updated into the file. What is append is, it's a process of adding new content after or at the end of the existing content. So that is called append. These are the two important file operations possible or file writings possible. Now, in both the type of file operations, if the file does not exist, then the file will be created. Okay, if you are opening the file in write mode or if you are opening the file in append mode, in both the cases, if your file is not there, then the file will be created and then the content will be written. Now, what are the functions provided by Python to do the file writing operations? So let us discuss the file writing functions in Python. First and foremost basic function is write. So write is a method defined in Python to write a string into the file. It is used to write a string into the file. And how it is called is a file handle. So when you are opening a file, you have to open it in write mode or append mode, whatever, and then you will get a file handle to handle that file or to refer that file, and that file handle is used to call the write function. So file handling dot write of string, file handle dot write of string. Now let us have a small example. I want to write some content into a new file students.txt. So I want to have my file in my desktop of the computer, and let me mention the path of my desktop file like this. So let me open the file with the function open of, then it will accept the path of the file in double quotes or in the form of a string. Now let me open the file in write mode. So specify the mode of operation write separated by comma from the file name or the path of the file. So within double quotes, let me mention the mode of file opening is write because I am going to open this file for writing purpose. So I want to write something into that file. And when you are specifying the file name, as we discussed in the previous or the first video of file handling, we have to mention or a character or in front of that file name to say that this string is a raw string. So there is no special meaning for any of the characters in the string. Now once your file is open, then you will have a file handle. So this file handle is used to access your file for any purpose in the future. Right now let me store or let me hold the file handle returned by this open function in a variable file. Now this is the name of the file handle for my file students.txt. Now what's next? I want to write something into the file. For example, let me assume that I am going to write 5 names in my file. I want to write 5 names in my file. So in that case, let me write a for loop. This for loop is going to execute. It is going to execute, for example, 5 times. So it's going to accept 5 names. So this for loop is going to execute 5 times, and every time it will accept one name from the user. It will accept one name from the user and it will be written into that file. So what I do is I just accept the name as string from the user. If I want to accept a string as input from the user, then you have to call input function. So input of, then enter a name. This is the description given to the user to enter an input. Now once user is entering the input, assign it to a temporary variable, for example name. So now the input or the name entered by the user is assigned to the variable name. And what's next? I want to write this name into my file. So I can call write function. So what is the syntax of write function? File handle dot write of the given string. So here let me call the write method by calling or by using the file handle. So file handle is file dot then write of then the string name. So it will execute 5 times. Every time it will accept one name from the user and that will be returned into the file. So this is happening 5 times. Now what's next? Now your content is written into the file. Now let us open the same file in read mode. So I want to check whether the content written into the file is there or not. Right? So I want to open the file in read mode. So let me open the file in read mode using file open function. So let me copy this and again now here I am opening this file in read mode. So if you are opening a file in read mode, then the file should already exist. But already this file is created. Students.txt is already created and some content is written into it. Now we open the file and we got a handle on it. Now what's next? We want to read line by line. We want to read line by line. So there are a lot of functions available in Python to read line by line. For example, you can use read, or you can use read lines, or you can use for loop, and through handle of the file you can read the content line by line. So let me go for loop. For example, for line in the file handle, then every time print every time print the line. Okay, every time print the line. So here let me print the line. Yes, so now that's all. And now at the end of the program, surely your file should be closed explicitly, because all the modifications or all the writings you've done on that file will reflect in the file only when you properly or explicitly close it. So how can you close it? So file handle dot close. Right? So this is how your file is written with some content. Now let us run the code and check whether it is working or not. Now it is expecting some input from you, right? For example, enter a name, right? So Felix, second time Arokia, third time Jose, then Alvin, then Joe. Now you see that the file contents are properly written and it is displayed. If you notice one thing, you can understand that all the contents or all the strings you are writing into the file are written in the same line. That means the write function is not capable of adding new lines. That means it cannot write your content into the forthcoming lines. It will write your content only in the same line. It will update the same line. So if you want to have all your content in different lines, you are requested to explicitly add a new line, or after writing the current line you have to add a new line explicitly, so that the cursor will move to the next line, or the writing pointer will move to the next line, and you can continue writing in the next line, right? So what I do is, after writing the current name, let me write one new line character into that. So let me write one new line character into that. Now what will happen after writing the new line character, after writing the name, it will write a new line character. So the cursor will, or the pointer will move to the next line, and again the next write will continue from the next line. Now let us run the code again and check how it is working. Right, let me give the content: Felix, Arukia, Jose, Alvin, Jovin. You see, now if you check the output, all your names are written in different lines. So it's very important to understand the write cannot include new lines, or it cannot write in the forthcoming lines. It will write in the same line, and it's your duty to add an explicit new line character or write an explicit new line character into your file after writing every string into your file. Now this is how write is working. Now let us move to the next option. So the next option is write lines. So write is writing one line at a time, one string at a time into your file. But write lines is capable of writing multiple lines at a time into your file. So how it is working? So it will collect all the strings you want to write in a list form. So you have to enter all your strings, all your lines in a list, and this list will be finally entered, or it will be written into your file. Right? So now let us check how this write lines is working. So write lines is actually accepting one list argument, or it is accepting one list parameter, where this list is a collection of strings or sentences you want to write in your file. So now let me write a small code in it. What I do is, instead of writing every line individually in this for loop, what I do is I create an list, a separate list. Initially I am creating it as an empty list, and I am gradually appending every new line, every line I want to add or write into the file into this list. So what I do is I am accepting the name from the user, and I am appending that name into this list. So list.Append of, then let me write the name. So name. But as we already discussed, again this append also cannot add a new line character. So but if you want to have all your names, all the names you want to write in that file to be written in separate lines, then you have to add an explicit new line character at the end of every line or every string. So plus, then add a new line character at the end. Add a new line character at the end. Now what will happen? This new line is added at the end of every name, so the cursor will move to the next line. So now what will happen? This for loop will execute 5 times, and it will accept the names one by one, and it will be appended into that list. It will be appended into that list. Once your list of lines is ready, now you can call the writelines method. So writelines method is actually called by using the file handle. So file dot then writelines. So writelines will accept a collection of lines in the form of a list, but the list is already created and it is the name list. So now it will write the complete list of lines into your file. Now let us run the code. Enter the name Felix, second name Arukia, third name Jose, fourth name Alvin, fifth name Jovin. You see, now your file, your names, all the names you entered are written into the file, and they are read from the file okay, in this read mode, and after that they are displayed. So here we created a list of lines together, and finally we wrote all the lines in a single stretch, or at a single stretch, or in a single step. So this is how write lines is working. So these are all the two important functions we can work with in Python to write the content into the file. So let us recollect one more time. So writing is a process of writing some new content into the file which is already opened via some file handle or file object. So there are two types of file operations possible. One is write, another one is append. If you are opening your file in write mode and when you are writing a content, the existing content will be removed and your new content will be added. But in case of append mode, if you want to add something into that file, it will be added at the end of the existing content of the file. But in both the operations, the file is not available, means the file is created. And there are two functions available. One is write, that is writing one string or one line at a time into your file, and writelines is capable of writing multiple lines or multiple strings or a collection of or a list of strings at a time into your file. In both the cases, this write or write lines are not able to include the new line characters, or they are not able to add the new lines into your file, so that you have to add new line explicitly at the end of every line. So I hope that you understood how to write some content into the file and read and display it and process it. Let us meet in next video. Happy programming. Thank you.